Welcome to season 7, episode 1 of the podcast. We have been away for a little while, but we are back and we are excited for a new season. So we're all back in Kenya. I know Andy got stuck in the UK for a bit. You even had the COVID virus.
Yeah, I did have the COVID. It was no, you know what? It was quite funny because Kat got COVID and she tested positive. And I kept testing negative, but I felt like crap. I was going, I don't feel good, I don't feel well. But the lateral flows kept saying, you're negative, you're fine. I was like, right. So I ended up getting a PCR test, but same day my lateral flow tested positive. But it wasn't that bad. I had about 2 days, maybe 3 days of feeling like I had the flu. The rest of the time was fine. But then the problem was I couldn't fly back for 2 weeks because I couldn't pass the PCR test.
Yeah.
And you need, like the UK's now scrapped PCR test, but you still need one to get to Kenya.
Yeah.
I think you still will need one to even get to the airport in Kenya to even fly to UK. So I haven't worked out how we're doing that yet.
It depends, I think, on what country you're going to. If you need the PCR, because my bro was out here and he got COVID, so he couldn't fly back. But they didn't need to get a PCR, did they?
No.
Okay, all right, I'll try it because it's good that the UK have scrapped that because not being funny, it was costing an extra like $200 on top of your flight money, and that's not including petrol to drive to Nairobi to get that. I think I had about 14 sheets of paperwork last time for me and Kaya when we flew back for Christmas. Like PCR tests, COVID vaccination certificate. It was pre-booked tests in the UK, which were an extra another, 100 quid, 120 quid. So flight prices have been cheap recently, but all the other things on top make it like ridiculously expensive.
It's crazy. But do you feel any lingering symptoms?
No. I did have for about a week after fatigue and flashes of fatigue. Like, and that's the biggest thing about COVID. Even when I had it, it was a fatigue. Every so often, like, you just suddenly get a wave of tiredness. You're like, whoa, I feel knackered. But afterwards, even when testing negative, I was still getting fatigue for at least another week.
Yeah.
One weird thing happened. My taste buds on one day went a bit funny, and I was drinking some Robinson's fruit juice, cordial stuff, summer fruits. It tasted like garlic. I was like, why is this taste like garlic? I was like, it's horrible. But just one day. It wasn't even one day. It was like half a day. And I was like, well, my taste buds all weird and messed up. Yeah.
That's so bizarre how I can't remember who was telling me, but sometimes some people have that for ages where things taste like other things. I think I'd rather my taste went than things taste like garlic or.
Yeah, I lost the sense of smell just during having COVID, and it was okay. To be fair, if you're going to lose a sense for a short period, smell's probably a better one to lose. Of all your senses, I'd rather lose smell than even taste, and definitely not hearing and eyesight and touch. So it wasn't too bad. As I said, I know it affects people differently. But for me, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, it's crazy. Can imagine losing smell and taste. So anything you eat, even your favorite foods, now it's not.
It's texture.
It's just it's for your own mental and not really.
I think the worst bit about it was isolation and being pretty much stuck in a room all day, resulting in body composition being rubbish by the end because you literally aren't moving. And that was almost like that for. So the isolation was 7 days, but because I kept testing positive, I stayed in for a little bit longer, so probably 10 days. So it was just I just felt a bit fat by the end of it, but it was right. Everything goes back to normal quickly after.
Yeah. Gosh. Well, now that you're back, did I see on your Instagram that are you cutting?
I'm just gonna have a mini quick tidy up before pushing again. So I pushed up the weight over the Christmas period. Got to probably 210, 215 pounds. Didn't really weigh myself much, but I was 208 pounds when I got back to Kenya, and I'd already had a week cutting then. So yeah, I'm gonna bring it down a bit more, and then push up again.
Yeah, nice.
Well, it must be nice to be back in your home gym.
Well, it is actually funny. I went to a gym in Nairobi because I had meetings Thursday. I went to Afro Fit.
Oh yeah,
Afro Life Fit.
that new.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's in like the place is really well made. New equipment. It's just all a bit light for me. Like as in, it's not plate loaded, so everything inside selected. The outside stuff's this made for being outside, and I maxed out on like the leg press there, like on my warm up. So so it's not all gym I would probably use a lot. It's nice. The training outside bit was really quite nice and fun. It was sunny and but I was doing legs. I don't think I could do legs there again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a cool deadlift machine there outside, but I maxed that out as well doing RDLs. So, but it was good. But yeah, I kind of like being in the swing of my home gym at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Making progress there. I know what I need to do, and I've changed. I've created a new training program for myself. I'm only doing 3 days, not 3 days a week, but like doing push-pull legs. Then we're doing the same sessions again.
Yeah.
And then having a floating rest day if I need it. So I'll either train 6 days a week, or put in an extra rest day, depending on feel. Sometimes I need that, so I'll put that in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's going well. But yes, but it's also as the sessions go on, I've split into weeks. Weeks 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4. I mean, week 5 deload, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and there's more volume gets added as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Like with intensifiers, drop sets. The last week 8 and 9 are horrible because it's just all strip sets. Like everything's a strip set. I'm gonna be broken, so I'm gonna have to maybe I might have to see how week 8 goes, and then maybe just call it week 8. But we'll see.
Wow, that sounds intense, but push-pull legs is nice. We've been doing full body, which is it's hard.
It's brutal, but
I struggle to recover from full body.
Yeah.
How you recover, because when you really push everything, it takes a little bit longer for me to recover.
Yeah, I think with fortitude though, you're not really doing everything. It's more like there are days you pick between like a push-pull movement, and then it's like a set or two. So,
but it still is everything.
It's
brutal,
I mean, but
if you're doing a lower loading, you're doing upper pump sets, and then the next day is an upper loading. So if your pump set is in your doing shoulders or even your arms, it is does carry over to the next day.
But mine's the next year, which is even harder, because on muscle round days you're still
muscle rounds are killers anyway.
Well, I got so bored of them. I'm like 6x4. So I've finished with that now. So I'm keeping some of his principles in there, but going back to upper lower. Gonna do that.
As Scott said himself, and he's a big proponent of this, is making it a hybrid thing to work with you.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't expect people, like once you've done it for a bit, he doesn't expect people to purely keep to fortitude.
Yeah.
People forget Jordan Peters started with fortitude training. He merged DC and fortitude together.
Exactly. And I really like his style of training, JP's, because I mean it is pretty much fortitude, but not full body.
Yeah. Definitely.
And so I've gone back to that, do that for the next phase, and then I'm going to do the push-pull legs. But yeah, doing a lot of back focus, as I feel like, my chest and shoulders are pretty good. So
this is what the thing is, women forget that. And you talk to women, potential clients, and they always, they want to make their waist look small. And I say, well, actually, it's an illusion. If you make your shoulders and back wider, you make your waist smaller, and then as long as your legs are then bigger, you have an hourglass figure. You don't have to change your waist shape. I mean, that's almost, you don't need a waist trainer.
No,
some people, people want that because they think it's going to make their waist smaller. Yeah, it may help you learn to control your waist. It won't make it smaller. It give you a bit of control, but you're better off focusing on getting you some lat width.
Exactly. So that's a big one for me, because that really, I think it's like one body part that for me has, it's not that developed, because before we got the cable machine, like it was so hard to train back.
You end up doing the same exercises, barbell rows, single dumbbell rows.
No, so I'm excited to do that. Can you feel it already? And I just find if you're doing like 2 upper body sessions a week, then it's easier to get in a bit more volume for the back rather than a push-pull legs. So I'm just trying to maintain strength for my push movements, because I love it's my favorite part to train, I must say, is chest and shoulders. I think
actually mine's back, and my problem is my back just grows now easier. I need to get my chest bigger. I get my shoulders are alright. I just I could do with. You can never have shoulders that are too big.
No.
Arms, my arms are rubbish, but that's a bit genetics with my arms. So, but that's why I'm trying to train a lot of 6-day-a-week sessions.
Yeah.
Even if it means I have to throw an extra deload a week at some point, I will. Only because I want to keep that volume relatively high on everything. I want to do 2 sessions on push. I want to do 2 sessions on legs. Like, I hadn't trained legs from the end of November till the end of December, really. I don't need, because I had a bit of cartilage stuck in the joint. And I couldn't get it out, so I couldn't straighten my leg. I was hobbling everywhere, limping.
Shame.
From about the 12th of November, when I was in Lagos, I can't remember if I mentioned on podcast, I woke up and couldn't straighten my leg.
Yeah. Oh.
So that's not actually, during COVID, it went back to normal. It was brilliant. I was laying in bed one day and suddenly I could straighten my leg, which was nice. There's like a pop and it straightened, it hurt, but straightened. But then I was in the gym and the same thing happened when I was doing legs. But now, touch wood, it's feeling all right, and I'm back to training legs again.
Oh, good. That's
sorry.
But it's been a nightmare because, as I said, I had about 8 weeks off training legs.
Yeah.
Because it's just too painful. I need like an actual operation. I do need knee replacement, but I'm just trying to work out best time to do that.
Would you do that here or the UK?
Probably UK. Only because I'm just trying to work out. I might have to pay to do it because I don't think my insurance covers because it's a pre-existing condition. So if I'm going to pay out of pocket, I might as well pay someone like Bupa in the UK out of pocket and get it done there. Just because, here I'm actually on the farm, trying to recover, it's just always a lot going on. So if I recover in the UK, I can have a family wait on me and look after me. So I might do it during the summer holidays sometime. So, but if I do, it means I won't compete at all this year. We'll see. We'll see. It's all down to how my legs are over the next month or so. If I can get the size up without any more knee issues, I might just keep going.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Any idea how long it takes to recover?
Ages for me. Honestly, 6 months easy. Because hip's an easy joint, so hip replacement's really quick. Knee just a really complicated. Like you've got, you put it in, it messes up where your muscles are sitting, so your quads all slightly sitting in a different place. Hamstrings affected, so it's just a lot going on. So we'll see. But once you do recover, apparently it's you don't really vastly notice. But I don't know how many people really go crazy on their leg training with a knee replacement.
That's the thing. I
guess lots of.
I've been trying to see if there's any professional bodybuilders who've had knee replacement. There's a lot of who've had hip replacements, but I've not seen any knee replacements yet.
Well, if you find one, we can get them on the podcast.
No, I'd love to. Exactly, I'd love to talk to them.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing with, I guess, hypertrophy training. You have all intensity techniques. You just use the light weights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you do everything from blood flow restriction to isometric holding. Fine. There's ways to train injury.
Yeah,
So
for the knee now, you're not really doing any crazy sort of strength training. No heavy.
no.
Low rep work. It could be lightweight.
What's the thing? It's like
tempo work.
so. I was saying the way my session starts, as I said before, is lower volume, heavier stuff in weeks 1 and 2. Then actually, volume increases without significantly increasing the load. So the idea is to start with a rep range on weeks 1 and 2, 8 to 10. So when you reach 10, when you do 10 to 12, but with drop sets, you try to use that weight, carry it over without pushing the weight up and just increasing volume and throwing some drop sets or rest pause sets into the mix.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do for my next. I'll do what Clear's done. I'll just hybrid JP, Scott, Dr. Scott, and add a bit of Dante Trudel, because when doing JP, it's amazing. After doing fortitude, seeing JP, you can really see the inspiration.
That's what we were just saying. When you were off camera, we were having this conversation. Like JP is a mix of DC and fortitude.
You can just see how the three their relationship, they've been tight for a long time.
Exactly.
It's amazing how they've been able to integrate all their training styles, and the industry nowadays, people fight a lot, but they've just been able to do it together, and it's really nice. So
this is what I've never understood, people fighting in the industry. There's different ways to skin a cat. As the saying goes, no one ever should skin a cat at all. But you can definitely achieve the goal through multiple ways, and everyone's realising this. So there's no point being married to your system. But also, the industry is a big place. There's plenty of room for decent coaches. You can all have different methodologies. There's plenty of room for that. So I've never understood it. I've never understood that mentality. My way is the only way.
Yeah, because you can see how their foundation is like Mike Mensa and Dorian Yates, kind of low volume, and then they just studied and came up with a nice low volume way of.
But they're smart. Like they've, a lot of them have studied that, and so it goes beyond what bodybuilders think works. It's like actually, we can prove that works.
Yeah.
I would like to get Dr. Mike Israel on. I'm pestering him, but I'm gonna have to start putting notes on his post. But because he's got a slightly different methodology.
Yeah, he is different.
Well, the thing is, this is what I was gonna say. Everyone's principles are still the same.
Yeah.
Progressive overload. Getting eating enough protein, all these sort of things, eating calorie surplus to gain muscle. These things don't change.
Yeah.
Mike Israel is also train if you can. It's close to failure, but actually, having a couple of reps in reserve won't prevent you from growing.
Yeah,
he was on it. Did he have a podcast with JP? It was really interesting.
It was really good, that one. He did it on.
It was on Revive. Stronger.
Yeah, Revive, it was. Yeah, it was on Revive.
It was so good because not everyone can train like JP. That mindset is crazy. And again, if you don't have machines,
then
to push yourself to true failure is almost impossible with free weights.
That's scary. To be fair, if you try to do that with free weights, I tell people not to reach failure with free weights because the chance of injuring yourself is higher. Like I would say, with free weights, you've got to keep your form perfect to prevent injury. But with machines, those last grinder reps, you're never going to give yourself you're not going to really do yourself in, unless you're lifting like the weights JP is. But if you are, starting, but that's, most people just can't take themselves there. And a lot of people can't take themselves there until they've been taken there. As in, when you train with someone who legit trains to failure, then, it's you just don't know.
Yeah, like for me with the first time I trained with Wallace after he'd done the Dorian Yates course, and then the guy came. That's, to be honest, that's when I believe I did like a true failure set and understood like what, like crap, it's just one set, but I'm pumped, and it felt different. And then we were done in like an hour, a bit under an hour, because I think we've done a leg session on the back. And that's when I was like, it caught my curiosity, because I didn't understand how I'm used to doing 4 to 6 sets and calling it beast mode, and this guy is killing me with one set. Then it just makes you start thinking different.
It's
Yeah.
not-
The thing is, this is why I love drop sets, because it teaches you to reach failure, but with a load going down. So psychologically, you feel better about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're on your top and it's like, really heavy, you're like, oh yeah, don't drop this. But you've got a Smith machine, you're like, oh, the safety might be on, but psychologically, it's still hard to really do it. But then by dropping it, you're like, just put the hooks on quick before it crushes your chest. But and that's why I like drop sets, and I'm using them more and more with clients to try and teach them about failure.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is hard for people to just go out and reach it. I would love to do a training session with Dan McNabb. I don't know if you know who Dan McNabb is. He's at Trojan Gym in Bristol. But he's probably one of the best amateur British bodybuilders. Been the Mr. Universe.
Oh, nice.
He got trained by Dorian Yates. He's trained a lot with Leroy Davis. His coach is Ant Bales, who also used to train with Dorian. And he follows up Dorian's pretty specifically. I think he only trains like 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah.
But all of his sessions are mental. As in, like he says, most people quit on the warm-up sets. Because he does Dorian warm-up sets where it's just a lot of leg extensions, say on leg days, and people are like, oh, I can't do it anymore, and walk out the gym. That's just a warm-up.
That's Wallace completely, by the way. DY.
Yeah, that's because there's that Dorian Yates style. It's almost pre-fatiguing.
Yeah, exhaustion.
Well, I just think the main thing, and like Mike Israel talks about it a lot, is and Coach Kasem, recoverability is so important. Oh my gosh, I find if I train to failure, I often can't recover in time for the next session. So, and that's different for everyone. That's why it's so important to know your body, what you can recover from, because if you can't, there is no point, and you need to pull back either your volume or intensity a bit. And again, that's where I think even Scott, he's generally an RPE 8, is like Israel's like RIR 2,
2 to
so 4. It is shy of failure for some things, and then on their pump sets you can go to failure. It's just like a few failure points, and I find for me that works really well, because also mentally sometimes it just puts me off going to train, because I'm like, if I have to like push myself to failure on everything, it's so daunting. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, and I get that, and I'm like that. I'll find myself stuck on the sofa because I know what's coming. Because all my RPE is I do 9s 9.5.
Yeah.
Occasional, like with clients even, like I do an occasional 10 on things like body weight movements. So safe. Only do 10s on AMRAP sets of body weight, but generally, I find now, I'm sitting there looking at it, because I'll sit on the sofa, I'll set the numbers for the session. I'm like, this is what I want to get. And I'm like, I'll sit there for 10 more minutes, because I just know it's just like going to be battery.
It is. It's mentally, that can be the hardest bit,
and especially us guys with home gyms, your options are barbell, dumbbell, maybe a cable, but still your legs, your big lifts, your barbell, dumbbell. So you just have to psych yourself up and be like, oh crap.
Although I do love RDL. The more and more, like, I keep RDLs with legs that, purely, I just love RDLs. It's a bit hard though, because doing push-pull leg.
And Andy's frozen. Oh well. Our internet's been quite good recently. Actually, that's a lie. It's been horrendous. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, ever since the KPLC mast fell, it's been
yes, it's been bad.
yeah.
But yeah, push-pull legs is difficult. I'm guessing that's where Andy is going, because when we did push-pull legs on pull, we started with deadlifts. We did deadlifts on pull on pull day.
Oh yes,
and
yes.
and then legs was more of a quad focus.
Quads and hammies.
Push-pull legs is no joke.
Which I miss push-pull legs, to be honest. And
while you were away, we were saying like we will go back to that. Oh,
yeah,
he's left us.
Just wait for Andy. But yeah, I'm going back
back
to. I'll do, because this will be my third rotation after my rest next week on Fortitude. Then I'll go into. I might do push-pull legs, upper lower, and then just do it rotational. But
that's 5 days a week.
No, not really. It's like more
Legs
like
upper
push-pull, rest, legs.
Oh, I see.
Rest,
Oh, right.
upper,
Okay.
And then
I
it
was
just
gonna
rolls.
say.
And then rather than count sort of weeks, it just
Yeah, I don't know
keeps
how Andy's
rolling
doing
over.
6 days a week.
Yeah, that 6 days. Because I do like upper lower, and I can keep it low volume or just keep it muscle rounds. And then
You don't get bored of muscle rounds?
I love muscle rounds somehow.
They feel good. If you've never done a muscle round, it is 6 sets of 4 reps. So you choose a weight that you can do 12 or the opposite. Yeah. Hang on, get into that. Sorry. So you choose a weight where you can do usually about 12 reps with, and you can either time yourself 10 seconds between sets, but who can time themselves 10 seconds? So you do 5 deep breaths instead, although sometimes I cheat. What I used to like to do was start with 6 by 4, and then the next week keep the weight the same and then do a 4 times 6, then add weight, go back to 6 times 4. And my favorite move to do that with is a calf glute bridge. Your butt will.
I mean, it was a split squat, which I even had to take a break.
So bad. But you know, the amazing thing with the muscle rounds is it does increase your metabolic capacity. So I found going now back into upper lower, I'm just
handle more,
quote unquote, no one can, well, if you're listening, you can't see me, fitter, like just because that is the whole point of metabolic conditioning, is to improve your work, capacity, and muscle rounds are a great way for doing that. And again, if you are training with minimal equipment, they can be good, but it can be hard for things like squats because there is a failure point.
With barbells, you're not really failing, so
you can't fail, but for some moves, like if you do go to a gym, you can really go ham on them.
If you have, I guess, hack squats, Smith machine.
We do it on leg extension and hamstring curl is pretty brutal as well.
Because even like for the trap bar squats, because after it's just going up and down, we got the wedges, so it's easy to just
tell them we got these amazing wedges. So they're based on the Prime Fitness ones. So like squat wedges. Who made them?
He's called a Tino. He's a nice.
If you want them, let us know.
He made the wedges and I call it a split squat rack, but
split squat stand.
It's a stand. I think I just like the word rack, but anyway, it's for the split squat, and he even made it in a way you can adjust it to your height, which is great because I'm short. Yeah, so at the wedges, they're like 20-degree wedges. So there's 2. There's 20, 30, and I think smaller ones. And he's back. And start with the 20. Yeah, and they just help in how you can target your quads, and it's amazing. Well, they just give. Hi, Andy. There he is. Welcome back. What happened?
The Wi-Fi just turned itself off, so I connected to the phone, but it didn't want me to connect to mobile data. It's like my computer's like, no, I don't fancy it.
Oh, shame. So, we were just talking. We got some wedges made based on the Prime Fitness one.
I don't know if it's.
They are incredible. So they're great for putting you in a more optimal position to target your quads, because you're generally more upright and your knees can go over your toes. So if you're someone who has really bad ankle mobility, they're great.
And then they're like thick, so you can
I feel like you could drive your car out.
Yeah, it's like you can choose where you put your foot, so you
What
can
are they made out of?
Trauma.
real
Oh,
metal.
yeah.
The guy who made us the split squat stand, he's a fundi. We got contact from Zakaria, so I'll send you the pictures. But
Okay.
he's amazing because he
Yeah.
knows.
I always do heel elevate. All my squats are heel elevated because it's not my ankle. I've got good ankle mobility. I've got poor knee mobility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that there.
So even without weight, I can't squat all the way down. But so having it slightly elevated gives me a bit more because it does cause a bit more. Yeah, push that tib fib a bit further forward. It does help still quite a lot.
Well, you should
But
try
yeah, I love.
because that's like we've always done heels elevated on weight plates. These,
Yeah.
it just feels so much better.
And they're nice, heavy chuma. So
yeah, you don't feel like you're going to slip.
no chance they're going to slip or move. And if you're going to another gym and using them, they're quite.
Yeah, you couldn't carry them.
They're not.
No, you don't fit into your bag.
No. No.
Guys will be like, are you bringing your own weights into the gym? Because they're quite heavy, but very, very good.
Another thing that we got, which was amazing, was that, again, it's like a Prime Fitness, that bar with all the holes in it so that you can then click.
Yeah, that's good.
Same guy.
Is it the same guy?
Same guy.
So with the contact.
No, it's the guy. I need one. I was going to get one from Jim Pin over Christmas, but forgot because of all the COVID thing. Because Jim Pin do them. Yeah, they're brilliant.
So
you do your lap pull downs on the handles.
So you.
How much did it cost you?
$7,000?
No,
less.
Cheaper. Yeah, I'll check. Much cheaper.
It was.
No, so that's good because I think it's about £60 in the UK for one. So that's close. That's like 9,000.
I think he charged us maybe 5.
Yeah.
Because it is also. It's real chuma. Like if you were to,
it's
again,
you're not carrying that thing around.
It's a heavy chuma, and then because there's 2. There's one with 6 holes, and there's one with 8. So he made us the 8-hole one. So 8 different options.
Yeah, might as well. More the merrier.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's great. If you do have a home gym or if you are serious about training, you could take this to the gym that you go to because it just.
I would always carry the bar around with me because I think it's that useful. So many gyms just don't have them. Yeah. So seated neutral rows, like most people do it with those baby handles, as hypertrophy. Joe Bennett always calls it baby handles. But then you're not really getting the lat movement, so they're a bit pointless. Yeah, you might get your rhomboids done.
You want to get like your own handles. I would highly recommend that because those you can loop on a machine anyway. And that bar is going to take your back training to the next level, and then get your wedges that will take your legs to the next level.
And why?
I've been using chains for the neutral rows, so 2 handles on the chain. So I can also get my hands right to my pockets.
So we're lucky the cable machine came with a chain, so you can also choose the distance when you loop it onto the bar. So
it just you make it fit your body, which is so important. Like even if it takes you time to set up in the gym with these things, it's worth it to be in that optimal position for you, as gym equipment is it's made for the average.
Sorry?
Yeah, like what I've been doing a lot recently is obviously unilateral lat pull downs on the handle. Because a lat bar just doesn't really do it.
No.
You're pretty restricted to how far. Once it's at your chest, it's at your chest, So I've been doing it with the handle because I can get better range of motion, engage the lat further and bring it down.
Yeah, I guess a lat is good.
That would save time because you'd have the bar do both. Same time.
No, I was saying the lat bar, I guess, is good for that upper back loading, and I guess in case you're doing some cable rows, you can incorporate. But when it comes to lat, I guess as we've learned, it's not the prime like lat movement. So the handles coming in really makes a big difference.
Yeah, huge.
Huge.
So Leon is drinking his coffee here, and I've decided to quit coffee, and it's just smelling really good.
I've got my chemical coffee monster.
So I've got no caffeine. This is day 7. It's been so hard. Oh my gosh.
See, I don't think I'm just not very caffeine sensitive. I didn't have any over the whole COVID period, like in the UK. So I got COVID, didn't buy a single can of Monster for about 2 weeks.
That's
That's enough time to be weaned off any.
No pre-workout, no. The thing is, I can do that, and I feel nothing. Like that's why I could, as I said before, I could probably have a pre-workout in the evening and go to bed, right? I probably wouldn't have the best sleep quality, as in like if you check my vitals, but I can still go to sleep. I'm just not very caffeine sensitive. I don't actually find caffeine wakes me up a great deal. Like some people say, I need it first thing in the morning to wake up. I'm like, when I get out of bed, I'm awake. And caffeine doesn't do anything to me mentally. I like the taste of Monster. That's the only reason I drink it. It's not because of caffeine. Yeah. Like I'm on a lot of my pre-workouts, I've started moving to more pump-based products. I think they're just better for what you're trying to achieve in the gym. But they're just quite hard to get in Kenya. Purely pump-based ones.
Yeah.
They sell out, or there's not many of them. So like for me, caffeine. It could be because we've got slightly different brain wiring.
People like metabolize it differently, and
well, that's the thing. Yeah, it is potentially. We all metabolize things like. I was telling somebody the other day is I have I'm a slow metabolizer of medication. So things like if I go into anesthesia, I will sleep for days after. Like I remember having my last knee surgery. They were trying to get me out of the hospital because they needed a bed. This is in the UK. Like that, it's day surgery. So like the evening comes, like, can you go home? I'm like still half asleep. They had to call. Someone had to come get me, obviously. But like, and literally went home and went back to sleep for 2 more days. Because I'm a super slow metabolizer, which means, generally speaking, I need a small amount of medicine to do the same job.
Yeah.
Because it's in my system slightly longer, it doesn't burn through, so I don't need to. So a small bit of paracetamol for a headache will last me longer. Like if I have one for most of the day, rather than people take them every 4 hours. So things like that are quite useful. And maybe so caffeine is just a slower burn with me. It could be, I did think about this. Like you talk about, I mentioned on my post about ADHD and stuff. If you give Ritalin, the ADHD drug, I know people use that recreationally.
Yeah.
I've got friends in the US who take that to get over a hangover.
Yeah.
Right? True. It makes them a bit crazy. Now, if someone with ADHD takes Ritalin, it makes them normal. As in, like, they won't notice any vast difference, clarity of thoughts and that's about it. Maybe that's the same with caffeine. It's like, I don't wake up because all it does is just adds to what's already happening in my brain.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? I just don't need caffeine though, which is kind of the point of this. It's like I can drop it, but as I said, I like the taste of Monster. I know not everyone does, especially a ginger one. It's lovely in the afternoon, like about 1-2 p.m.
It's like tangawizi.
I love caffeine. I love coffee, but it was just making me so anxious.
What about decaf?
Yeah, so the sensible route would have been to go decaf, but I was like, now just cut it all out. And again, caffeine. So in conjunction with that, I've also got the glucometer to just, because caffeine can really cause unstable blood sugar. Big time. And I you might have drunk coffee and then actually had the opposite effect where you just want to go back to bed. Because what's happened is your blood sugar it's spiked and then it's just crashed and now you're just like and
again it doesn't happen much with me, like as in I suffer high blood glucose anyway, although it's pretty much under control, touch with at the moment. Generally because I've tracked it between meals, after drinks, I've seen good patterns, and actually it doesn't vastly change after caffeine for me. But I know with a lot of people, it sends your blood sugar really high, and then it crashes back down. So you get that initial buzz of the caffeine, but like 10 minutes later, you are knackered. So that's thing, like, and that's one of the indicators, I suppose, we've talked about doing an episode on this, is if you eat and you feel really tired after, that will be because of a blood glucose, because of the insulin, and your blood your blood glucose has gone right up. What goes up has to come down, so you are going to get these. And this is like, you see it if you ever go to a conference or something, and we have lunchtime, and it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Everyone's smashing, get to the dessert section smashing. Those people that smash the desserts, you watch them in that conference. They'll be the guys asleep after 10 minutes of it starting.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and that's why I got the glucometer. Well, for other reasons as well, because I mean, also right now, just into everything hormones and stable blood glucose, not just for hormones, but it's so important. And
blood pressure, because this is the thing that people don't realise, when blood glucose goes unchecked, it does start affecting your blood pressure, and then kidney function and everything, and in fact, generally speaking, if you can keep your blood glucose in order, you'll generally live longer. And that's the same goes to blood pressure, because everything's kind of linked. But unchecked blood pressure is possibly the most dangerous thing to affect people, because that's why so many people end up on dialysis and stuff when they're older. Yeah. It's not because their kidneys are packed in, it's because the blood pressure has forced the kidneys to pack in. Because it's like trying to force, like, imagine your kidneys are like a fine mesh, and then you stick it to a high-powered fireman's hose, which is what happens when your blood pressure's up. It's going to get damaged, and sadly the kidney doesn't repair itself. It's a filtration system, it's just what happens. You can't replace a filter, sadly, unless you replace the whole thing.
And I mean, it's kind of a topic this year that we've already been pushing, is just manage your stress. The good thing about your body is it's so interconnected that instead of trying to target every single symptom, if you work on some pretty basic stuff that most people don't want to work on, like stress and sleep, that will help with a myriad of health problems, your blood pressure, your blood glucose, all of that. But I think people really ignore stress, or they just think that their level of stress is normal, and it is not. And the
problem, I think we normalize stress, and I think in the workplace especially, work's stressful. It shouldn't be. As in, like, even if you've got a high-powered pressure job, like, be it sales and you live on the commission, you've got to know when to step back, like a little bit from the brink. Interestingly, I've been trying to manage stress a lot more this year as well. I was stuck in that traffic jam in the escarpment for 4 hours. And there was a massive car crash, but it wasn't the car crash that caused the delays. You know what happens in Kenya? As soon as there's an accident, everyone's trying to drive around off-road, the road just gets blocked, and it takes hours to clear because of all the lorries. There's lorries doing it as well as cars and tattoos. But I was like, I'm going to sit here, I'm not going to get stressed about this. It is what it is. If I have to be here all night, I've got drinks, there's food, I've done shopping at Carrefour, there's food in the boot, I won't die, right? I'll survive, it'll be fine. Stuck on a YouTube video, watching it, moved when I had to move, and I was like, if someone wants to push in, let them push in, it is what it is, and that's fine, because I do suffer. Road rage is possibly my biggest stress. I get so annoyed by bad drivers and people being just rude and selfish. Okay, but now I'm now like, let people do what they want. As long as I don't crash into me, hit me. I'm just gonna try and chill.
It's hard, but it's so worth incorporating. Stress management into your life. Identify what stresses you. So for Andy, that's rage, and honestly, work on that, because stress just causes inflammation, blood glucose spikes, insulin resistance, all this kind of thing. And
was it on your podcast for your mum? we were talking about the effect of things like music, and I don't play rap music when I'm driving because it gets me a bit more. Because you start listening to music, and then I start driving like I'm driving in the ghetto. I'm driving. I start getting into it, and I drive more aggressively. So actually, I tend to watch. Well, I listen. I don't watch it, but I listen to murder mystery podcasts and stuff. Just like it's a bit of tape, police podcasts, and just listen.
Nice.
Rather than listening to music. The only time I stick music on is when cars in the car, and it'll be just anything from Taylor Swift to Ed Sheeran to who knows. But some other modern people I don't know. But that's the thing. It's like everything can have an effect. Like training as a stress. I'll try to explain to people. By training, if you train properly, you are creating stress to yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't want too many stressors hitting you at the same time. You got to manage your stress inputs. And so if you're having, and I say this to clients, if work's really stressful at the moment, let's take a slight step back from the training. If we can't change work, we might as well give you a deload training session.
Exactly.
Because there's no point piling on added stress onto stress already. You aren't going to achieve your goals. You're get yourself more worked up because you're not achieving things. Take a slight step back on what you can manage to step back from.
Yeah.
That's like relationship issues. Step back. Have a break in your relationship. Say that we're fighting too much. Let's just either go to counsellor or step away.
Yeah, because it's crazy.
Because you got to manage what you can manage before it kills you.
Because maybe when I was younger, I'd deal with stress by training, which is like you've said, it's just adding more on. It's like more wood to the fire. Beast mode or whatever, and you find yourself getting burnt out, getting more tired. But since you don't know, it's training on top of every other.
You always think that training is good for you,
exactly.
And it is to a point where
psychologically it is.
Yeah.
But the added stress to the body, still all cortisol, and if you're trying to achieve goals, it's just compounding.
Yeah.
So again, it all boils down to that recoverability. What can you recover from? And that can change if you've got more stresses in your life. And
I saw talk about this. I've just got to go back to this because I just remembered a guy called James Elliott, who's a counsellor, therapist guy. He ex-parachute regiment, does a lot of psychologist, but he talks about training isn't therapy.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, training is my therapy. Training. It's not. What you're doing is you're not dealing with a problem when you're training. You're just burying it. It's like another thing on top of it. Holding it down by adding a little bit more, with adding physical stress to maybe emotional stress. And what you're doing is you're just pushing it down.
Yeah.
You shouldn't use training as your therapy. Therapy is therapy because it helps you work through problems. Training might make you feel better, but it won't actually deal with the problem ever. And that's the reality.
I think that's so important to distinguish between those. And again, people don't want to confront that. They don't want to confront like this stress, or to work on the stress, or to work with a professional, a therapist, a counselor. It's and like if you do those things, you're more likely to get to your body goals or whatever goals that you're going for. If you're managing all of that stuff as training, dieting is a huge stress on your body. So if you're going to work on anything this year, work on your stress, work on your sleep.
Oh, it helps.
Good things will happen.
Definitely.
Major.
Just sleep's important, stress management's important, and just by changing those two things, actually just by stress management will probably help your sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
And it affects your whole life. Also, I sort of say like stress is the biggest trigger for cancer. Mm-hmm. The cancer cells high stress levels in the body, cortisol levels, is the highest potential trigger for a cancer cell.
Yeah.
So, we're out here allowing, people, who've got really stressful jobs, allowing work to shorten their lives.
Mm-hmm.
For what? You're chasing dollar notes, dollar bills, but actually you're not going to be living that long to enjoy it.
Enjoy.
It's true. I've had this conversation with Taryn as well, and because stress will really affect women's hormones, well, men's as well, but women have got more going on there. So
we're simple hormones.
Yeah.
Irregularities in your cycle can be, a lot of that can be due to stress, because when you're stressed, your body is like, okay, we're not going to ovulate because you're so stressed. This is not a good time to be having a baby. And if you don't ovulate, then there's all sorts of problems down the line. So stress again.
And it's so true. Like, you look at someone with anxiety, and a woman with anxiety, their menstrual cycle changes from 2 weeks to missing one to suddenly 4 weeks. It's all over, and it's just because it's all, that anxiety is causing stress levels to just go peak, drop off, and the body doesn't actually know what's happened. So you've got to kind of deal with the root problem.
Yeah. And again, like for me, coffee was that. I love coffee, but I was just like, it is not worth feeling this way. And also a lot of women don't metabolize it so well during their luteal phase, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, so you've got to identify in your life, and you've got to be ready and willing to make that change. Like, even if it's your job, is it worth it? Is it worth feeling that stress? And of course it's scary because, that's your money, that's whatever it means to you. But in the end, if you're one of those people who's always complaining about your job and how stressful it is and how unhappy you are, and you don't do anything to change it, that's on you. That is on you.
Well, everything, you've got choices. I think I did a post on this the other day. With anything in life, you have choices. You either ignore something, which doesn't help at all. You either accept it how it is and get on with it. Also, you're not going to change, but at least you're accepting it.
Yeah.
Or 3, you actually make a positive change.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works in life, because you don't really, and then you see it all the time. People moan about their job, about family, about whatever it may be, but they never make a positive change. They never look to see, I'm just gonna, change these things. Like, I've seen it in couples, like people who've been married for a while. You just see them arguing all the time and moaning, and we may be together for years. But at no point do they think we should probably go for a bit of marriage counselling.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, I guess dealing with the problem, well, it's like with training. It teaches you. It's hard work. You either put in the work or you lose it. So it's just people are scared of the unknown. Maybe it's like it's easier to.
No, that's it. People are scared of change because it is unknown.
It is.
People.
Yeah, it's easier to quit. It's easier to run than deal with.
You always get told it's better the devil you know, but actually, half the time it's not.
Yeah, and I mean, I was not happy in my previous job of 10 years, and it was like, I was making good money with it, but I was like, this is just not. It's not doing anything for me. So I quit it. And when you're in your 30s, quitting a long job like that, of course it's scary, but you've got to make that decision. You've got to make that decision. It's really important. And as coaches, we know a lot about you and all of that. And just from hearing someone's background and the stresses in their life and all of that, just getting those under control would honestly get you to your goal so much faster. And if someone comes with so much stress and has a fat loss goal, I would tell them no, because you ain't going to be able to commit mentally or physically to a fat loss phase, which is a huge stress. So
and also it's like Andy said, therapy is therapy. If you need to add therapy to make progress, just go.
We are not therapists. We've said that before.
No.
Coach is not a therapist.
100%. And sometimes, people blur the lines a little bit. But the reality is, therapy works if you go open-minded and willing to give it a go. If for someone who's really struggling mentally, stop paying me for coaching and put that money to therapy.
Yes.
I'd rather that because it's going to actually help them more long term. As in, like, I'll help them reach a fitness or physique or performance goal, but actually, having coping mechanisms for life is a way bigger tool.
Yeah.
It truly is. It truly is. Wow. Or maybe we can just start our therapy podcast. No, it's
life coaching.
Your body, the journey, it is such a holistic process, but your mindset is your most powerful tool. You've got to get that in the right place. You really do.
I guess the longer you train, the longer you realize all these things are connected. So it's
100%.
Everything is connected. Well, I think that is our hour of power, and I think we will definitely be back to discuss more blood glucose because it is really interesting. And I mean, Andy, you've got really good experience with it. I'm going to go checking out my glucometer, pricking my finger today.
You know what's a shame? We've got those wearable blood glucose monitors now, but they're really set up for type 1 diabetes. If there was a type 2 specific diabetes or, just general blood glucose monitor you could wear, they're the best because you don't have to do anything. You wear it and then you just look at the app on your phone. It tells you how your day's been with every meal you consume. And you go, all right, well, maybe. And then you can experiment by changing food types and saying, I had a bit more fiber to that meal.
See what it does.
Because,
something to
see what it does. Yeah.
But those must be really expensive.
Go look for it and see how much it.
No,
they are expensive. But when you think about, you don't even need to wear it for like forever because I think once you've got it, you've got it. There's changeable pad things, but once you know what works for you, keeping yourself. Like I always say, for my own specific training, I tend to have my pre-training meal has a lot less fiber because you want those carbs to hit quickly.
Yeah.
But what effect does that have on the body? And same with like taking cluster dextrin. It's good to be able to see on what happens to blood glucose, how quick it comes down, because you might realise actually we're better off eating a bit earlier with fibre and having slower release carbs as we reach training because what I'm finding is my body's not responding so well to the cluster dextrin. It's shooting straight up and coming straight down. Actually, midway through the session, I'm feeling knackered.
Interesting.
But it's just trying because everyone's slightly different. So by being with one of those, you can actually map.
Oh yeah.
Map for your food.
Yeah, because you don't want to be sort of like halfway through your set, be like, oh, let's go and test.
Yeah, it's good data to have.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you
great data.
I'll check because I know Apple have one specifically for.
Yeah, because Fleur uses that. Our friend used that.
But she's type 1, isn't she, Fleur?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just has it.
We'll just
a little patch, which is brilliant.
On her arm. But no, it is so interesting. So I think we can definitely do a whole episode on that. And we've got some exciting topics lined up.
Maybe try to get Fleur on because we can talk about type 1 versus type 2. And because I know more about type 2 and general pre-diabetes type stuff, they'd be interested to hear about type 1 as well.
Yeah,
she lives it. So
she lives it, and she's got other issues as well, which we could talk about too. Her whole journey.
Management.
Yeah,
all that.
I like it.
Nice.
All right. The more you know about yourself, the more data you have. The better. It really is.
Yeah.
So on that happy note, we hope you enjoy this episode and have a great rest of your day. Yeah.